What's going on, fight fans? It's your host Sebastian and welcome back to the Boxing Tip. I hope everybody had a good Christmas. Sorry for not pumping out the videos the last 2 days. You know, the holidays been a little busy, but the holidays are over, so now I'm back at it. And gonna go ahead and kick off the little return with an interesting piece of news that's come up lately, is that the newly crowned IBF champion at Cruiserweight Division, Murat Gassiev, is potentially looking at a match with Glowacki in 2017 for possibly his first title defense. We all know Glowacki from his last fight. We know Glowacki, you know, he's a really good cruiserweight. He's been a good cruiserweight, but we know him more so for his last fight with Alexander Usyk. Usyk got the unanimous decision over Glowacki, taking his WBO title, but it looks like Glowacki's trying to make a return, and it's a big one. it's a risky one. We know that Gassiev had the 12-round split decision victory over Denis Lebedev not too long ago. Good fight, good fighter. I know that we've been hearing, I know that they've been discussing a rematch with Denis Lebedev, you know, being that it was such a close fight between the two guys, but you know, that remains to be seen whether or not they're going to be making that rematch. But it seems like they're taking interest in Glowacki, being that he's also advised under Al Heyman as Gassiev is. Glowacki has fought in the United States and on the United States television network PBC before, so Gassiev's kind of looking to stay within the American boxing scene, trying to get more exposure to American boxing fans. Glowacki is known in the United States. It's looking like it might give him an opportunity to, you know, getting a little bit more exposure, get a little bit more well known in the United States boxing scene or the American boxing scene. We also know that Murat Gassiev was also talking about fighting Usyk as soon as possible, but obviously we see that him and his team are looking at a range of options here, you know, whether it's the Lebedev rematch, Glowacki here in the United States, and even possibly Usyk here in the United States. All of them make for very good matchups. Gassiev, he's a pretty talented guy, man. Really good fighter, very hard puncher, very aggressive, good boxer. So you know, it'd be interesting to see him in with any of the top cruiserweights in the division. Me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Gassiev versus Glowacki for his first title defense. Glowacki, even though has one loss to Usyk, is still no pushover. He is a very good fighter. He's been at the top of the Cruiserweight Division for some time now. Even in defeat to Usyk, still remains a top 10 Cruiserweight fighter. So, and Gassiev, after his victory over Lebedev, also put him on the map. So, you know, it makes for an interesting fight. I mean, if we can't get Usyk or we can't get the Lebedev rematch, why not have Glowacki? I think this is a perfectly fine fight for Gassiev, and it's a good step forward in his career, you know, being that he's trying to have a more productive career, you know, so he's trying to get somebody to fight in the United States with him, being that he trains at Big Bear with trainer Abel Sanchez, so, you know, I guess he's trying to stick around in the States, so, which is a good thing, nothing wrong with that, but obviously he's willing to travel as well, because, you know, he fought in Russia against Denis Lebedev. So, you know what I mean? So he's an on the road fighter if he needs to be, but it looks like he's trying to kind of plant his feet here in the United States and gain a little bit more exposure amongst American boxing fans. So, you know, that's a good thing. At least we would get to see a little bit more of him, you know, on American televised networks. So, but yeah, I like the fight. I think it's a great matchup. Even though Glowacki does have, you know, is coming off of a loss, he still poses problems. He's still a good boxer, so it's an interesting matchup. And even if, you know, for some reason Glowacki can't pull off the win over Gassiev, and Gassiev gets the win either by stoppage or decision, you know, he's beating another top 10 cruiserweight, and it propels him even higher up on the list. whether it be number 2, whether it be number 1, who knows. Nevertheless, he gets a win over Glowacki. That's 2 top 10 cruiserweights that he has victories over in a pretty short period of time. So it's a very productive move by Gassiev if he decides to take the Glowacki fight. Me personally, I do feel that is the easiest fight for him when it comes to these 4 guys at the cruiserweight division: Usyk, Lebedev, Gassiev, Glowacki. So I feel like this is the easier fight out of the 3 opponents that Gassiev's team has talked about fighting with. Usyk, in my opinion, it would be the hardest challenge for him. I hold Usyk in pretty high regard, in terms of his boxing skill. The man has all the tools, so, that's a risky fight for Gassiev if he wants to jump in there with them right away. Maybe go ahead and get another top 10 light heavyweight out the way, maybe even get the Lebedev rematch, and then maybe, go ahead and try to take on Usyk. But nevertheless, any fight's risky. Out of those 3 guys, any fight would be considered risky for Gassiev. I definitely think he has the talent to pull off the victory over any of those fighters. But I also think Lebedev and Usyk also hold the tools to beating Gassiev as well. As you see, Gassiev and Lebedev had a pretty close fight. It was a really competitive fight. One of my favorite fights this year, honestly. Some good action, but it seemed like such a chess match between the 2, and I think that someone was looking to try to get the separation in the fight, and to me that is one of my favorite things to see in boxing between 2 very good fighters is they're a little bit on the even side. We're trying to see who's gonna pull away and take over the fight, but it didn't really play out in that particular fashion. But nevertheless, it was a competitive fight from start to finish. So Gassiev did knock Lebedev down. I think it was in the 5th round from a fucking beautiful left hook to the body. So that dude has got some serious punching power. Usually I don't like to include punching power when I talk about a person's ability or boxing skill or his boxing IQ. But if you got the power, you inherit the puncher's chance. You know what I'm saying? Add that on to the boxing skill that you do have, and you pose a serious threat to anybody in your division. It's a good thing for Gassiev. Now Glowacki, he showed that in the Usyk fight, that he got outclassed pretty good by Usyk, but I don't know how I would explain it, but he didn't seem like this is it. You know what I'm saying? After he took the loss over Usyk, it didn't seem like this was the end of his career. It's a done deal from here. You know what I'm saying? So I think he can very well make a good return. And I think, even though Gassiev is a risky opponent for Glowacki, he's a good boxer. So anything's possible once those 2 men step inside the ring. So, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what becomes of the cruiserweight division. But there is also talks of Usyk actually considering moving up to heavyweight, which as you guys know, he fought at the heavyweight division in the Olympics. He walks around at a solid 200, anywhere between the range of 220 to 240. So he has to be somewhere in that range. He's a pretty big dude. He's pretty tall. He's about my height. So him moving up to heavyweight would make things interesting in the heavyweight division. Such a talent moving up poses a threat. So, and that was his division that he used to fight at, was used to fighting at, before he turned professional. So a lot of interesting thing going on, man. When it comes to the 200 pounders and the 200 plus pounders, there's a lot of interesting stuff, man. Those weight divisions are starting to really, heat up because of all the solid competition in those weight divisions. In my opinion, cruiserweight may very well be the most stacked division when it comes to boxing talent. So maybe that and the light heavyweight division, that's another good weight class as far as talent goes, or good fighters. We just got to see them all start getting in the ring together. Lebedev, Usyk, Glowacki, and Gassiev have all taken on tough challenges amongst each other. You know what I'm saying? So obviously these guys don't have a problem with fighting top level competition. And that's fucking awesome. That's what makes the cruiserweight division one of the best divisions in boxing right now. You never thought you would Cruiserweight division isn't the most popular division either. So, it's I'm kind of proud of the Cruiserweight division right now. I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to it, being that we have such spectacular fighters fighting there. But, let me know what you guys think, man. Do you guys want to see Gassiev versus Glowacki? I know I sure do. I think it makes for an interesting matchup. I think, whoever wins out of this fight, being that they're both top 10 level cruiserweights, whoever wins, it's a very good move in their career. It gives them a lot of, it skyrockets them towards the top. So, you know what I'm saying? Or if they're already at the top, like Glowacki, I think he might be ring ranked number 2 right now. So if he gets a win over Gassiev, he could very well go back to being the number 1 man at cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? Same with Lebedev, Usyk. You know what I'm saying? If any of those guys fight Gassiev, or, whether Lebedev gets his win back, we might see a trilogy go down. Gets his win over Gassiev, we might see a trilogy go down between them two, which I wouldn't mind that either. We might see Usyk versus Gassiev. Whoever wins that, in my opinion, definitely is the top cruiserweight in the division, hands down. Lebedev versus Usyk, Lebedev versus Glowacki. I mean, we got like a mini tournament kind of style thing going on here. So who knows? I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But let me know, would you guys like to see Glowacki versus Gassiev? Would you like to see Gassiev versus Lebedev rematch versus Usyk? Glowacki versus Lebedev, Lebedev versus Usyk? Any of those guys fighting each other, just let me know who would you guys would like to see, and then hit me up on the comment section. Like I said, all my subscribers who comment on my video, or anybody who comments on my video, knows that I respond. I don't care if I think you're wrong. I don't care if I think you're right. I respond regardless. So let's have a conversation. Also, share the video with your boxing homies. Do not forget to try to introduce somebody to boxing. Bring somebody into the sport of boxing and show them why we love this sport so much. Also, subscribe to the channel. I had my little 2 days off there for the holiday. I'm back, trying to get about 3 videos a day going. Starting with this one, so you might see 2 more coming out of me today, so stay tuned for that. That's all I got for this video, guys. I'll talk to you on the next one. Sebastian from The Boxing Tip signing out. Peace.